Good afternoon, everybody. It's me, Comic Crack. I wanted to do this video now instead of Sunday night because I'm very, very much taken aback by my recent discovery of, I'm going to try my best, Geneviève Castrée, I believe is how you pronounce it. I was looking on, there's a comics journal retrospective or remembering Geneviève, and big questions whose name I'm blanking on right now. He helped with her final book, her final posthumously released book, The Bubble. He did some work in it to kind of complete it, so it could get a release. I'm going to be showing that off on the Sunday chat and talking a little bit about that. But when I was posting about it on Twitter this week, Ryan Carey, Four Color Apocalypse, was telling me about the release of this book. So this is the complete works, and it has her date of birth and her date of death. So 1981 to 2016. This collects everything that she's done to a degree. We'll have a quick look through some of it just for the usual comparisons there. There's a regular sized comic, and so you can see how much bigger that is. And it's like omnibus size, Marvel omnibus size from Drawn and Quarterly. This came out this year. I'm not exactly sure the publication date on it, but I've been leafing through, I don't know, I probably leafed through already the first 100 pages. It's over 500 pages. We do get some photos. We get a write-up at the beginning. We also get some childhood photos here too. Hopefully we'll get a little less reflective as we go, even though you're sort of seeing my shadow here from the camera. So there she is there. So we first get an introduction. So here's the contents. First of all, here's everything that's included in this book. An introduction by her husband, Phil Elverum, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He's a musician. I didn't realize that they were married, and small world that it is. He played in bands called, I think, Mount Erie. I think the Microphones was a band as well too. He also played on this, one of my favorite bands from kind of that K Records, which is based out of Washington, Olympia, Washington. One of my favorite bands, Old Time Religion. He played on this album. I'm not sure if he played on any more of their records. I'd have to pull them out. I haven't, Werewolf by Lunchtime, how are you? I haven't listened to Old Time Religion in quite a while. One of my favorites. We've looked at Arrington Dioniso's stuff before. Color Code did a couple of books of his. That's a sampling of his art. Anyway, so Phil was Geneviève's husband. So he writes the introduction to her life, kind of going back to parts of her childhood. There isn't a lot of childhood photographs, is what he was saying. The ones that they do have, especially of when she was really young, this is her 5th birthday, I think it said. She's always smiling and apparently was always one to be kind of entertaining and talking. I read the Susceptible book, which is also included in here. It's in its entirety. This is her. She went out to live with her father for a little while out on the West Coast. And this is kind of where she was set up to do some art, her kind of cabin studio. What I didn't realize was how involved she was in all sorts of artistic or just creative outlets, I guess. So I guess she had an idea to do a book and a record. And when she realized she didn't want anybody else to do the music, she taught herself how to play, and she wrote her own songs. So she started playing in bands as well too. She kind of came up with a punk rock kind of background. Again, one that I can relate to for sure, just from the sounds of what things were like for her, as far as the people she was hanging out with and the types of music they were listening to. So it's a really, really nice piece from Phil talking about his wife, his partner, and kind of what she meant to everybody who kind of knew her. There's also one quick one by Julie Doucet. They became friends. They were mostly pen pals. I guess Geneviève was a stamp collector as well too, so they ended up writing back and forth to each other for quite a few years, and were pretty tight friends apparently. So that's kind of just a one pager from her, and a nice photo of the two of them in Iceland, I think it says. Opposite Geneviève and Julie on Mount Esja above Reykjavik, Iceland, May 2005. So, and then we get samples of some of her work, samples of her early mini comics. Now, this part isn't entirely complete from what I've been seeing. This, for example, Mucus de Puce, #1, cover and excerpt, just has a couple of those pages. But right off the bat, this I think was the first thing that she did. 1998 is the date on this. Doucet talks about her being sent this as her first exposure to Geneviève's artwork. And again, right off the bat, she feels like one of those artists that really has a very distinctive style. This one looks incredible as well here. Just a very, very mini comic from 1998 as well. So really great to kind of see this early art and you can see how she would kind of fit in with that kind of indie comics scene at the time. This looks right in place with all of that stuff. Again, 1998, I wasn't collecting comics. I wasn't in tune with stuff. So again, it feels like I have a little bit of a lost window there of time in independent comics. So now we're creeping into 2000. We're not going to go through every single page of this, but I just kind of wanted to show you some of this stuff because I'm really just taken by her work. Yeah, it's really touching stuff. It's really amazing. Drawn and Quarterly. It's a name that we always talk about. I think Rasa has read a couple of things at this point from Drawn and Quarterly that she's got from the library. On the Friday chat on Jared Osborne's channel, there was some brief talk of Fantagraphics and Drawn and Quarterly. Like, look at this stuff. It's gorgeous. There's something about her figure drawing and the body language. There'll be some more examples here. So here's some work she did for some posters. Yeah, so here's a K Records show, I guess, there. Like this stuff here. This is a great example. This is fantastic. This body, the movement and the shape and the way people are standing, that kind of cartoony language, but a really, really just a fantastic style. This is from 2002 to 2003, so just various drawings. So along with having all of her published work, there's also collections of drawings and sketchbook inserts and photos and all sorts of things. And I mean, I feel like I'm just scratching the surface at 100 pages into it. And the layouts on things too. There will be layouts. These drawings are just gorgeous, but there's some story layouts where there's lots of, yeah, here we go. It's this next one. If I can turn the fucking page here. The Female Panda. So 9-panel unpublished story, and this is reproduced at the original size. So the ones that are in French, they also give you the English translations along the side as well. This stuff is nice, but when you get to these last few panels here, the use of the space on the page, especially in the layout of this book, is really masterfully done. This is beautiful flow to it here. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Oh, Werewolf, sorry, I missed that comment there. Just had the complete 8-ball arrive in the post. Did you get the soft cover or did you get the hardcover? I haven't heard the greatest things about the soft cover. Bigfoot, a Bigfoot phase, I guess is what it says. Bigfoot phase, notebook page where the band name Wolf first forms, paper cut art for burning silk screens, a screen printed poster for a show Geneviève put on. So that is that's some of that there. Hello, Miss So, how are you? Sketches and the only remaining fragment of a 4-panel giant story. So the idea there and then starting work on it, just these first 2 panels were all that was created for it. This is stunning stuff. Ink on tracing paper to use for burning silk screen. This I kind of stared at for quite a while. I love seeing the textures in the tracing paper as well too. And I love, again, there's some of these publishers, Fantagraphics and Drawn and Quarterly, like this book lays pretty flat. I had to kind of ease the spine quite a bit. But this is just gorgeous the way this is presented. I love seeing the edges as opposed to just taking that snapshot. I love seeing all the white space around and the way that it's presented in this book. This is gorgeous as well too. So for an album, so I started listening to, if you check on YouTube and search her name, there'll be some recorded stuff. And then there's a couple of live performances too. Well worth checking out. I've just started listening to her music. So I not much to say about it yet, but just great to see an artist that is playing around in all sorts of mediums. Pamplemousse. So we get a bunch from Pamplemousse. It's a real nice balance between kind of young reader picture books and comics and underground comics. She was a huge fan of Asterix and Tintin and things going and the Smurfs growing up. So this is a fake record cover for a group exhibition of non-existent albums. This one is an homage to Tintin in Tibet here, which is really, really nice. Soft cover seems fine. Okay, great. Good to know there, Werewolf. Damien was showing off some photos of it. And the gutter loss it seemed to be extreme in the photos that he was showing. So this early stuff is incredible. Like, look at these pages, you know, gorgeous, really incredible stuff. It's always amazing to me that there's these very prolific artists, especially for a Canadian artist that is completely kind of off of my radar. So I'm really glad that again, thanks to the library, I guess. Hey, trying out some stuff from the library and grabbing that Susceptible and loving the style. I love the illustration. It's just a very confident line in here with her work. Very, very confident, beautifully done. Not super busy. I mean, look at this here. Incredible. Some stuff from sketchbooks. We'll kind of, we'll flip through, kind of go a chunk ahead here and we'll see. So yeah, this is getting into areas that I haven't really sat and explored too much. Getting into some strips, some stories. But yeah, I mean, this, you can see already, like, this thing lays pretty flat. This is beautifully bound here. It was making quite the creaks and stuff, though, as I was opening it. And it kind of scared me a couple of times with just how loud some of the snap, crackling, and popping was going on. Look at this. These faces. Beautiful. So I don't have much more to tell you about her because she's just brand new to me as well. So I'm really glad. Again, thank you very much, Ryan, for telling me about this. It got me to look at the Drawn and Quarterly website actually for the first time in quite a long time. It looks like Seth has a new Palookaville coming out next year. A new Kate Beaton has been released from Drawn and Quarterly. I'm not the biggest Kate Beaton fan, but I know there's quite a lot of people that are. So it's good to see that they're still around and they're still putting stuff out. So we'll kind of skip ahead here. This is gorgeous. Let's see if we can find, yeah, here we go. So this Susceptible, this was her first, I think this was her first book. Geneviève worked on this autobiographical book for almost a decade. It covers the age of birth to 18. Though she had many more books planned, it became the central achievement published during her lifetime. The book is included here in its entirety, followed by notes, sketches, and outtakes. So it's 74 pages. So they give us the entire thing. Some sketchbook drawings there. Little one, that's her father. A little piece there before we get kind of a reproduction of the front and back covers, the end papers, and then the story itself. So that's great. It'll be nice to revisit this again within the context of this entire book. It's still pretty fresh in my mind though, so we'll see what happens with a reread. And then we get a bunch of extras here too. Hello. So there we go. Beautiful stuff. Really, really love it. Really glad I was able to find a copy without having to mail away for it. If you like anything you see here, I'd suggest grabbing anything from her that you can find. There isn't a ton. This is the one that I just got as well, that I just read. So that one is... No. What do you need?
I need to get it higher.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, so this is... that's pretty much it. So these are some pieces from that last book. This was done when she was diagnosed with cancer, and this was the last thing she was working on. I think her and Phil had a child who was just over a year old, I believe. So it's kind of her last book for her daughter, I believe. So, and then, like I said, Big Questions, the guy who did Anders Nielsen, helped with kind of completing it, drawing in the bubble, finishing off some of the work so it could be published. It ends pretty abruptly, but it makes sense considering what was going on at the time. So here's some more of that artwork there. It came out as a small kind of board book because it wasn't enormous. Oh, looks like maybe he helped with some of the coloring as well too, finishing off some stuff. So there we go. That's it. So tomorrow we're having a chat on Damien's channel, Sleepy Reader 666's channel. Join us. I think it's going to be about 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is my time zone here. So please join us. I found a copy of Mackenzie Queen. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Mackenzie Queen was a really fun read, I thought. Thanks very much, Miss So. Nice to see you. Okay, thanks everybody.